What's up, guys? It's Lord Both here with another video, and Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I think we might have something on our hands here, boys. It's phenomenal, amazing, breathtaking, beautiful, compelling, makes me not want to put it down. Whatever kind of accolades and positive adjectives and verbiage I can give it, that I'm gonna give this game, because it really is just that good. The story is compelling, and I mean like from the get-go. The characters are rich and full of life, mostly because they're acted by superstars in the voice acting realm. Whether that's veteran voice actors like Ben Starr and Jennifer English, or well-known actors like Andy Serkis and Charlie Cox, which you all probably know Charlie Cox from Daredevil, but not me. I remember Charlie Cox when he was the star of sci-fi fantasy movies like Stardust, back in the days when Henry Cavill was a nobody playing a supporting role character who didn't really have any lines. Also, the animations are beautiful. Everything from the environments, which are both artistically distinct, which is something you don't see a lot of these days, as well as graphically enhanced and beautiful. It's smooth and flowing. There's no real jank to it. The character animations and look are about the same way as well. And yeah, maybe it feels a little bit immersive because the main character, Gustav, if you want to call him the main character, it's more like an ensemble cast, looks like an amalgamation of Charlie Cox and definitely Robert Pattinson. We've seen several posts online being like, hey, this guy looks like Robert Pattinson. So yeah, everybody noticed. But yeah, it's a beautiful looking game. And one thing I can also say is the soundtrack. Holy shit, dude. There's so much good music in this game. I feel like some of it is actually wasted because I barely had time to actually drink in that music and how good it is before we moved on to the next area, and it has different, really good music. I mean, that's one of the things I noticed right off the bat about this game was the distinct, beautiful, romantic period music that goes along with it that really helps set the tone and environment of this game. And of course, something that's vital to any game, mechanics. This game has a turn-based combat system. And as turn-based combat systems go, it's really fun. And it's fairly simple to get used to. And while you do feel a little overwhelmed at first with all the elements you're presented, skills versus, I think they're called pictos, which are like abilities versus like items and etc. You catch on pretty fast, and it really presents a fun opportunity that's also pretty challenging, even at the easiest levels, but not daunting and mind-numbing enough to keep you from going on. Essentially, think of it as a hybrid of turn-based systems with Souls-like mechanics. It's just really good. And I just want to say, with the success this game is having, and we're going to get into that in just a minute, all the people who are telling us people don't want turn-based combat in their games, they just got to take the L on this one. Because with the success of this game, the success of Baldur's Gate 3, and the success of things like Metaphor Fantasio, you can't ignore that people are down with the turn-based combat systems, and that they can be successful. So for the devs over at Final Fantasy that have been gaslighting fans, saying, oh, people don't want turn-based combat in their games, well, read the room, because clearly, I don't think you're right. And I'm clearly not the only one that thinks this, because as this article from PC Games In states here, Game of the Year contender Clair Obscur Expedition 33 has arrived, and it's flying high on Steam. The game has a 92 Metacritic average, and PC Games In gave this thing an 8 out of 10, which they even say here is on the lower end of wider industry spectrum. Yeah, pretty much they're the only guys to give this thing an 8 out of 10, because literally every review I've seen has been like 9 out of 10, 9.5, 10 out of 10, 4.5 out of 5, 5 out of 5. There hasn't been a single review less than a 9 or less than a 4.5 than this one that they're mentioning from themselves right here, at least that I've seen. As for Steam numbers, the user score on Steam is at a very positive 93%, and it peaked over 50,000 players. It's actually even better than that now, still staying in that like 92% range in terms of reviews. while also coming up to a peak of 71,225 players. Keep in mind, this isn't some massive multiplayer game. This is, for all intents and purposes, a single-player game. And yes, this game has already crushed the peaks of things like Assassin's Creed Shadows. And while Assassin's Creed Shadows had well over 1,000 people work on that game, maybe even up to 2,000 people, this game had a dev team of like 30 people. And its budget was a lot less. The PC Games End article is also smart to state that this game didn't exactly release in a vacuum. There were numerous other factors going against it. First being that it's a new IP with a completely new universe. And when I say a new IP, I mean it's an actual new IP. It's not something like Marathon, where Bungie is taking the dead bones of an old game and trying to pass it off as something new, using the reputation of something that was popular a long time ago to prop up something of their own that doesn't look like it has a lot to do with that old thing. No, this is a completely new IP, from the ground up, off the drawing board new. It's also a debut project for Sandfall Interactive. Yes, this is their first real game from this company. I mean, that's amazing what they've been able to do. But yeah, there are some people that would hear that news and think, can we really trust a company that's never put out a game before to put out something massive that this is supposed to be? I mean, the guys who did Concord, that was supposed to be their first game. And we all know how that turned out. So yeah, maybe there's some distrust there. Also, the numbers that you're seeing on Steam aren't fully reflective of all the people playing this game. Because not only did this game also release on console, and specifically on Xbox, it was free on Game Pass. So there's a lot of people probably checking this game out for free as well. Even though, trust me, it's worth the $50 you'd spend on it. And yes, it is only a $50 game, as compared to some of the peak AAA or even quadruple A, as they like to call themselves, that are $70 and probably going to be $80, $90 now. Shout out to our boys at Nintendo, who between this and the Oblivion remaster could probably learn a thing or two about game pricing and where the market is and what they want to spend on games. But not only is it available in all those other places, it's also available on the Epic Store. So you can purchase it on the Epic Store as well as Steam on PC, meaning that people might be playing on PC, but they might not be playing it through Steam. So those Steam numbers aren't there. And yet still, it's doing over 71,000 players at peak in like its first day. And as I kind of hinted at with its mention just a few minutes ago, this game didn't release when there were no games releasing. Because yes, we've had drop after drop after drop since essentially February when it comes to games. And most recently, we had the Oblivion remaster drop. And that shadow dropped, right? Even though it wasn't actually a shadow drop because there were the leaks. And we all know that the leaks probably came from Bethesda as part of a marketing campaign that wasn't an official marketing campaign. And they've done essentially everything possible right with that launch and that remaster that is essentially a complete from the ground remake on a different engine for their game. Which is why it shot up to the top of the Steam charts and like well over 100,000 people were playing it. And Expedition 33, which initially wasn't thought to have to compete with that, is now having to compete with that. As well as things like Lords of the Fallen 2.0 that just dropped, where they did a complete overhaul of their game to where it's almost a completely different game. And it's really, really good from what I hear. And yet still, against all those odds and numbers, this game is doing really well. And I know some of you might be like, well, who cares about the player numbers? What are the actual sales? Well, here you go. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 clears 500,000 copies sold. Clair Obscur Expedition 33, the debut RPG from Sandfall Interactive, is already off to a strong start. The studio announced today that Expedition 33 has hit a milestone of 500,000 copies sold. That's just in 24 hours. And yeah, there are probably pre-order sales that were taken into account along with this to get to that number. But still, 500,000 total already. I mean, that's amazing. That's half of what Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 did in their sales of their first day, and that was considered to be a premier launch title of this year. And while people thought Expedition 33 was going to be good and do well, I don't think they were anticipating that it'd do this well and that it'd be this good. And the truth is, it's an absolute shame that this game and other games, including Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and Monster Hunter Wilds and so many other games, are releasing the same year as GTA 6 is supposed to release. Because it's hard to imagine anything but GTA 6 winning Game of the Year at the Game Awards and other places as well, just because of what a juggernaut it is. I mean, it would have to take a nosedive off a cliff into a steaming pile of shit in terms of story and gameplay and being buggy and janky and etc. for GTA 6 not only perform financially well, which I think it's going to do no matter what, but also win a ton of accolades during award season. And it's a shame because this game, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, it should be Game of the Year. Now there could be something that comes along that changes my mind, but as it stands right now, this thing, it's ticking all the boxes. At every facet, at every level, it is next level. And I know some of you might be like, wow, you're really glazing this game. Is it really that good? The answer is yes. It should be Game of the Year. And I thought Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 should be Game of the Year. I'm unapologetically a Kingdom Come Deliverance fanboy. I love the first game, even though some parts in it made me absolutely rage. Just like some parts of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 also make me absolutely rage. But beyond that, there are some flaws in that game that I can't really get over. And while I do love it and thought it should be Game of the Year, this game, Expedition 33, it's just better. And it deserves that accolade. And unfortunately, I don't think it's going to get it. But we can still enjoy it. And Sandfall, they can still enjoy the deep financial success that they're going to get. And probably other accolades that they're going to win come award season. But those are just my thoughts on all this. If you have your own thoughts, go ahead and leave in the comments. If you liked this video, go and like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, I appreciate you watching all of it, and we'll talk to you again later.